Simply put, do you trust the media and their ethics with the current state of this country?
No, I don't. No.
I think that the media is telling whatever they want to tell. They're focusing on problems instead of successes from the students. They're telling another point of view, and I don't trust them.
What has been the hardest part about teaching during the pandemic?
Oh, that's definitely not seeing the kids, not having the kids in the classroom, and not working hands on with the kids, especially first graders, kindergarten, all those primary grades that need the help of the teacher in person.
The hardest thing about teaching during the pandemic has been not being able to offer students support that they need. The one-to-one support that they need in order, especially with my students that are learning English. I just can't be there the same way that I would normally be, and also too being impacted by the pandemic. Just the fact that you have to also learn different methods of reaching out to your students, and different programs and different ways of engaging them virtually, really.
And then there's all of these other circumstances, again, talking about like a home environment. Not everybody understands that having the TV on, it comes down to us as like super loud, all these loud noises around us. And then they put a headphone on the kid because they don't want to listen to the teacher. But guess what? The microphone on the headphone is picking up all of the sounds. And it's like an invasion of privacy sometimes, because you see things that you really don't want to see. Like, we are mandated reporters, and we're supposed to report abuse. And sometimes, we see a kid with a bruise, and we're like, oh my God, this is weird. But now you're literally seeing things that maybe it's not as bad, but when you put it on the camera, when you have all these other witnesses, all these other parents on the line, and all these other parents on the call, and you see how this child is getting reprimanded, and like by a parent who's yelling because the child cannot get it, you just break. There's part of you that's like, it's not that serious. Like, and you don't know how to reach to that kid and say, hey, no big deal. Like, it's all right. Because I think teachers, we have a way of saying, like, you need to do X, Y, and Z, but we understand their limitations sometimes because we have all these other kids to compare them with. And if we just know that, okay, this kid is not getting it, like, it's okay. We're not going to be like, you need to do it. But as a parent, you want your kid to be the best, right? And so you see a lot of the, I guess, the parents' frustrations on camera. And that has been a struggle for me, because I have seen, something that's pretty much like what I would consider abuse.
Right.
But then you think, can you imagine how they're feeling as well, right? Like, you have to put yourself in their shoes. It's just a lot of stuff going on.
Right.
And then let's not talk about like people losing family members. That's another struggle. But anyway.
Do you think that the media has a heavy influence on education?
Yes, they do. The media has a bigger platform than the teachers do. The media, of course, can put their ideas out into the public without the teachers actually putting their insight into it.
Yes, I think the media does have a lot of influence on the decisions that are being made, because they are heavily focusing on problems again, and not on the things that are successes, not on the things that students are doing right. So I think that they are having an influence.
Do you think that the media portrays teachers positively or negatively on TV?
No, I think they portray us negatively.
When it comes to the media's influence on students staying at home or returning back to school, do you think they should be publishing other people's opinions, or do you think that decision should be left to the teachers and parents?
I think that should just be left up to the teachers and the parents. Absolutely, the parents should be the first one in line to give their opinions on whether their kids should come into class or not.
I think that decision should be left to parents and teachers to make the best decision, to make the best decision also on numbers, COVID numbers, and so that's a decision that needs to be done by parents and teachers.
What is an issue about teaching during the pandemic that the media is not talking about?
They're not talking about how difficult it is to teach, virtually, to not be there for your students, to, having troubles with technology and all the problems that you have to, to solve in order to be able to reach out to the students.
Do you think the media's coverage on the Chicago Teachers Union strikes were fair?
No, absolutely not. They were portraying the teachers as not wanting to go into the classroom, and ultimately I think they do want to go into the classrooms, but there were so many issues first to fix before they did have all those kids come into the classroom.
No, I don't think that they were fair.
In the end, the Chicago Teachers Union managed to secure $35 million to shrink oversized classrooms, yet the media coverage seemed to be more focused on their wage increases. What would you tell those thinking that strikes are just about wage increases and money and not the students?
Oh, absolutely not. It's not about the wage increase. Definitely not. I mean, it's more about how can you help all these kids, 32 kids in some cases, and how can you help those 32 kids during this COVID time in a classroom when you're supposed to keep them 6 feet, 3 feet apart? How can you do that? So it's not about the wage. It's not about the wage, or it's more about trying to help a smaller group than a bigger group, if you can understand that.
I would tell them that they are wrong. It's not just about money. It's about class sizes. It's about, having a fair amount of students, not over, the class sizes, not being huge. It's about also having nurses in the schools and psychologists to be able to serve their students. It's not just about money.
What would you tell people about the reality of this profession that they don't see on TV?
Oh, definitely how much the teachers do care about the kids, how much we want the best for our kids. They don't see that out in the media, and that's like the number one thing for the teachers.
I think that if they just sometimes understood that we studied to so much to be able to provide their child with the education they need to have any career, right? And we try really hard, at least most of us do try really hard, because I don't know, I cannot speak for everybody. I'm sure there's one teacher who's probably not trying, and then everybody focuses on that teacher. But all these teachers, we try so hard and we're so dedicated that all we want is for our kids to grow. Like, I don't think there's a teacher out there that says, oh my God, I can't wait to collect this paycheck. I don't care if this kid learns or not. Like, and if they just remember that we're there for them, for their kids, to make sure that they are growing and developing, and just, I'm thinking about my special case in kindergarten. Like, I would never tie their shoelaces or zip up their coats, and people would get upset, like, oh, but you're so mean. I'm like, he can do it. They're individuals. Look at how happy they are when they do it. I think that they forget that we are more than just like robots reciting information. It's like we're interacting with the child. We're having fun with their kid. We love their kids. And I think that I don't think they see that sometimes. You know,
Right.
like we have to put all this love in these children. If not, like then I don't think that it would be an easy job, right? And that's why
Right.
some people quit because they can't do it because you have to
Yeah.
love what you do. If not, it's really hard. And most of us, I think, love it.
Right.
So
What they don't see on TV is that teachers, generally care for their students, that they're hardworking, that they are working on lesson plans during the weekend, that they want to see their students succeed, and that they work very, very hard